talk about Morocco. Let me take myself off of here. (1777), Morocco became one of the first nations to recognize the United States of America as an independent nation. Yes, we can look it up. You can research it. I think this is objective knowledge. I think a simple research on the internet will guide you to that. It's been addressed several times by even modern politicians, right? So I think this is pretty much objective knowledge. However, there was no immediate response to or formalized diplomatic relationship established by the United States. Now, this is what I want to talk about, right? Because the reason I'm getting into the intricacies today and the details is because some people run off with just the top, the cream of the top, and they run off down the block. Next thing you know, they had the haircut today. They had to go to the barber shop, and they're just talking, right? They're just talking. Now, America was the first one. You know what I'm saying? Morocco was the first one to congratulate them, and that's why we got a treaty today. Word. That's why we have a treaty, a peace treaty, because Morocco was the first nation to congratulate or recognize the independence of the United States. Do you know how long it took after Morocco expressed their recognition to the United States? Do you know how long that treaty took place after the recognition? It wasn't immediate. First of all, it couldn't have been immediate because there was no planes or trains or... Hold on one second. Make sure everything is copacetic. All right, cool. Or any of those things, right? So Morocco. Now I'm gonna tell you which part I'm freestyling and which part, because the Spanish lady don't like me freestyling, y'all. She don't like it. So let's not make the Spanish lady upset. This is what I feel. Morocco, seeing that this country, newly independent, had its independence, maybe they was like, yo, that's a come up. Let me be the first to become one of their allies. They are immediately across from us. And I'm talking about immediately across. So we're thinking of money at this time. We're thinking power. You know what I'm saying? We're thinking, how can I take advantage of this situation? And besides, Morocco was taking L's at this point. There was a few L's that they had taken. They tried to strong arm the Dutch. It didn't go over well. There was a few little tiffs and wars that they had gotten into where they necessarily didn't come out the victor. So I can't say what was on Morocco's mind, but I can't also say it's not something that I would not have done if I'm immediately across from them. And I'm like, you know what? I want to make them my allies. Now, they sent... Well, before I say that, let me just read what I wrote down here. And by the way, the Spanish lady also says, some people say I read slides. Beloved, I make the slides. I don't know how much y'all want from me. Y'all don't want me to read and you don't want me to make slides? I think she wanted me to just know. All right, Spanish lady, I make these slides so that I have a coherent conversation so I know and I'm not jibber jabbering. The slides they serve two purposes. They keep my conversation in a general direction, and it gives something for people to look at. All right, so these are my slides. I'm going to tell you if they're not my slides. I got this information. I put this up here. 1784, the American ship Betsy, sailing from Philadelphia, was captured by Morocco. Now, check this out. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you. Check this out. Morocco congratulated the United States in 1777. Bro, it don't take no 7 years for you to get the message of congratulations. However, and basically his acknowledgement was basically, anybody flying the American flag in this general region that we monopolize, they got the free pass to do trade. America, right? So that was Morocco's first olive branch. Yo, you're good. You good over here. America, I don't know if America responded, right? I don't know how they responded. I don't know if they responded the way Morocco wanted them to respond. So what Morocco does, I think they was waiting a little bit too late. Yo, but we done sent you word that you was good. I think you didn't even send nobody over in the last 7 years. Oh, word? Okay. So there's a ship called the Betsy sailing from Philadelphia. The Moroccans capture it. Subsequently, the crew and the ship were taken hostage in Tangiers, right? Now, remind you, there's a whole, not a treaty yet. There's not a treaty yet, but you already sent out recognition and congratulated the Americans, and you already told everybody in that area they good. Sultan Muhammad III announced that he did not intend, here's the game, y'all. Here's the game. He says, I did not intend to confiscate the ships or its cargo. Instead, he indicated that the ship and the cargo and crew would be released upon the conclusion of a formal treaty between the United States and Morocco. Now, what does that sound like to you? Where I'm from, that's called soft extortion. Nah, beloved. We can work that out. That ain't about nothing, bro. Let's just, actually, I congratulated you like 7 years ago. I just don't know if you got the word. I sent it by pigeon and I sent it by boat. You understand? But anything can happen. You understand? But I'm sure we could take care of this right after we built this treaty and all that. It was soft extortion. And there was some particulars in the treaty we're going to talk about. One of the particulars in the treaty was called extraterritoriality. Oh, he wanted big respect on his name. He felt like Fredo at this point. You understand, Splashing? He felt like Fredo. He's like, I'm smart and I want respect. I'm not like dumb. I'm smart. That's the Sultan. You're not getting no respect, blood. Like all these, first of all, England had it so tight, brass knuckles and flashlights, everything underneath him. Everything underneath him, so tight, right? Everything above is like, yo, you ain't coming up here with that. So Morocco is literally sitting there like, yo, man, I want respect, bro. Y'all gonna put some respect on Morocco's name. I swear to God, on King David, you gonna put some respect on Morocco's name. When they see America get its independence, boom. Okay. I bet that was good thinking. Sometimes you gotta get you know what I'm saying, somebody bigger than you to be like, yo, congratulations, yo. But America didn't respond the way they wanted them to respond. They wanted them to leap for joy. Oh, thank you, Morocco, for we got bigger issues here, bro. We appreciate it. We heard you, bro. Heard you. Gave him the chest check with the elbow and all that. Heard you, beloved. Where you from again? Morocco? Say that type shit. Okay, that's what's up. Nah, Morocco's wasn't hearing that shit. What? Okay. Let's see what happens when I catch a near another ship flying through this joint. 7 years later, beloved. Oh, Morocco was tight. Confiscated that joint, right? Turn the tables on America. Yeah, I got your ship, and I got your crew, and I got the cargo. You know what I'm saying? But we don't want no beef, you know what I'm saying? We just don't know if you got our letter. Yeah, we got the letter. Yo, come over and break bread with us, Lord. Break bread. Yeah. I'm the captain now. Anyway, when they create their peace treaty, there's something in there that is very, very important. I don't know who decided to put this first. I don't know if it was the Americans' ideas or if it was the Moroccans' ideas, right? But they put in something called extraterritoriality. Let's say that again. Extraterritoriality. That's how you say it. Extraterritoriality. Yeah, that's not so good. But they put it in there. So let's read these. Diplomatic recognition. The treaty recognized that the United States as an independent and sovereign nation. There goes that. Every time, thanks to the Moors in America, I hate the word sovereign. I don't even want to see it or say it on King David. I don't even want to see it or say it. But in this instance, I have to. I gotta say what it was because that was in the treaty. Right? The things I've seen, the ridiculousness I've seen. Flags driving down the street, going toe to toe with 15, 25 police. Yo, you know what it is? I'm sovereign. What? Beloved, who told you this? Yo, Millie on King David. Shout out to Famous Rich, man. That little kid is crazy. Love that little kid, man. The treaty recognized the United States as an independent and sovereign nation, and Morocco agreed to establish diplomatic relations. Okay. Now, let's read the second part first. American citizens in Morocco were granted extraterritorial rights, meaning that they would be subject to U.S. laws and jurisdiction rather than Moroccan laws. Do we understand what this is saying? What this is saying is if any American is caught in Morocco, that they would not be subject to Moroccan laws. If any American went over there and started smuggling hashish, but it wouldn't have been hashish in this time, it would have been slaves. Then, and other things. Let's not cap, right? Again, the Spanish lady does not like when I freestyle. So let's just say, let's leave it to trade so I don't get in trouble with the Spanish lady. Let's just leave it to trade. But if you went over there and you did something and you was an American, then basically Morocco, because of the peace treaty, would have said, okay, you are not subject to Moroccan laws, because if you were subject to Moroccan laws, we would have gave you 13 lashings by now with the bamboo and all that. I don't know if that's true. I'm just being funny. But what's not being funny and what is true is that they would not have been subject to Moroccan law if they was Americans. However, this apparently was reciprocal, meaning if Moroccans was in the United States and they was over here doing something funny style and it got they got arrested, whatever the situation is, then they would not be subject to American laws, they would be subject to Moroccan laws. They would have sovereignty. Oh, Millie, this is what I'm, Millie. I just want to leave her name out of it. See how she feels about this show. I'll tell you next week how she feels, y'all. How she feels. She writes things. I'm talking about she has to take at least 30 minutes to write what she writes. It don't be like a little comment. The comment be mad long. Like she spent 40 minutes on the comment. I got to read through it. Then she erases it. And she just tells me off. It's not all tell off, but you could tell she's not pleased. So what I said was, rather than getting upset, maybe she's trying to push you, Saladin, to be more accurate, right? I could take it like that, right? She's a woman. I'm not going to come up here and like, what I'm going to say. I'm not going to war with her, right? So, all right, why is she doing this? Maybe, Saladin, she's doing it because you're not doing as good as the job that you think you're doing. Maybe, bro. Do better. Let's see how that goes. Do better. So that's where we at right now. That's a fact. It's a fact, Splashy. Nah, you good. Let's see. Commerce. The treaty facilitated commercial. Okay, let's talk about the treaty, right? So not only did it give diplomatic, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Because there's a bunch of things I could say, right? Diplomatic exoneration, diplomatic. It gave some type of diplomatic status. It gave a diplomatic status to Americans in Morocco and Moroccans in America. That's what this here peace treaty did with Morocco. Are we understanding where I'm about to go? I think we are wise enough where I'm about to go with this. But before I go there, the treaty facilitated commercial relations between the United States and Morocco. It outlined principles of trade, free trade at that. Yes, diplomatic immunity. Thank you, Tipset. Allowing American merchants to engage in commerce in Moroccan ports. All right, so there you go. Everybody wins. So, before I move on, Moorish community. Let's take a look at this map. Before I move on, Moorish community, is you telling me that all of the colored people in the United States is from here? From up here? That's what y'all telling me? I need somebody from the yo, on King David. I need somebody to explain to me what Moorish identity is, right? Because the Arabs, as I will show in a few, they was not Ethiopians. I'm going to show you this. This is why I spent so much time on the beginning part of this video explaining who we was, right? And I could not prove that most of the Bantu tribes originated from Nubia, but there is a strong consensus. I will say that there is a strong consistency. Oh, King David, shorty. There's a strong consensus that the origin of the Bantu tribes originated out of Ethiopia. Hence why I started my video off with such a knowledge of Ethiopia. But we're not done. We're going to go back to Ethiopia. But I just want to ask, are we to believe? Okay, Cop is back. You didn't miss. Oh, you did miss some. I ain't gonna hold you, Copper. You missed. All right, Copper. I'm just making it real brief just for you. All right. The United States entered into a peace treaty with Morocco. And the main thing to walk away from that peace treaty was something called extraterritoriality, which gave American citizens diplomatic immunity in their country, and they gave Moroccans diplomatic immunity in America. That's the main thing to walk away with, right? Now I'm asking very facetiously and sarcastically, because that's the only way I could take it. Am I to believe that the dark-skinned people of the Nubians? Now, Indians could be dark-skinned, Dominicans, but let's not get there yet. Indians could be dark-skinned. They could. So we cannot go based off of that alone, and I won't. This is why I keep saying Ethiopian and Nubian. Am I to believe that the ones they call blacks in North America, am I to believe that the ones they call African Americans in North America, am I to believe that they all originated from Morocco? Now, I gave us a strong education on how the Arabs went on a conquest to conquer North Africa. And although it was Tariq who was the commander in crossing into Spain, he was under Arab leadership and government to do so. So it's not like he did it under his own volition. He did it because, we told you to do it, bro. Like, you with us or you not. You could be my commander or you could die, blood. You let me know which one is going down. You let me know. Because I think you a talented commander. North African. But I will show soon there was a difference on how the world did not view us. When I say us, the people we see today as blacks and North African Americans. They didn't see us like it was, all the same. No, there was a clear distinction on who was Ethiopian and who was an Arab. There was a clear distinction. And to push it further, there was a clear distinction on who was Indian from the Americas, Indian from India. There was distinctions, beloved. So I don't want to get to the 21st century and then you guys act like there was never a distinction. So what I do is I push you. I say, no. You telling me we was always here. Why didn't the rest of the world see it as that? Show me. Now, in all due respect, Copper has given me one book. Maybe I think she gave me 2 books, which I will check out. Obviously, I can't check it out right now while I'm doing this, but I'm going to check it out. But from my evidence that I will bring to you today, there was a clear distinction on Arabs and the differentiation from Arabs, Ethiopians, Indians from the New World, and Indians from India. These were not, these people in historic times, these historians and these travelers were not confused on the different ethnicities. They were not. So I'm not going to get here in 2023 and just agree with you because you said it. Nah, you're going to have to do more than that, beloved. Respectfully. Now, this is still for my youngins, right? We're still dealing with them because they keep telling me there was no such thing as a slave trade. I laugh. And some of you like, what? But bro, this is what happens when we don't correct people, right? So if there was a teacher in your community, but then some people, you know what they've been doing? This is why I'm doing the show. So I don't listen. I'm gonna speak very candidly. I don't have anything against the Moor's Science Temple of America, right? Nothing against. What I've said, and not only on this show now, I've said it previously. Get your house in order. Because the same way I tell the blood community, you think I don't spare no community, bro. I'm talking to everybody. Once I see your house out of order, your house is out of order, beloved. Especially if your house has influence. Now the Bloods, I told them to get their house in order because they was out of pocket for letting the young people run around. They didn't know their history. They out here just, I read the 31 codes on air. So if I could read it, I know who's breaking what laws and codes. So that mean there's OGs out here in the community that ain't doing their job, right? Did I ever tell you to stop being blood? Yo, do what you got to do. But if you ain't with us, you against us. So you blood. So that mean you oppress other black civilians and people that's working hard in your community? If that's what that means, get the fuck out of these communities, blood. On King David. If you ain't with us, you against us. We don't need that type of shit, right? So whatever y'all into, y'all going to get money, protection, whatever y'all, keep that shit lock and key, bro. That's what I'm telling you. Once that shit start to spill over and it's affecting people in our own neighborhood, now we got other things. We got other shit to worry about. So now I'm not dealing with that bullshit. People running around slashing people that got nothing to do with nothing to get in the game. Nah, fix that, nigga. Fix that. Y'all need to go back to scrapping in a fucking field or whatever y'all gonna do. Fix that. Because I got to deal with Moors over here now. That's people's running around with half knowledge, going down the street, talk about their sovereign. People getting killed over this shit, bro. That means somebody ain't teaching it right. If people getting killed and ain't nothing happening, you did not teach that person right. And then because of groupthink, people don't want to say what they don't know because they don't want to feel stupid. They don't want to feel less than. So they just going to go with the conversation. Yeah, I heard that. Right? It's not. It's part of itself. It's not cool to be smart anymore. Right? Because we let the people who run the airwaves or the frequencies that transmit perception, which is media, audio, radio, right? We let them commandeer the ship. And at least what we could do is we could take our own into a room and we say, listen, they ain't going to teach you this in school. And they for goddamn sure ain't going to show you this on no TV. But this is the history. Because what the people who controls, see, it's a real wizard behind the curtain type of situation going on where they say, oh, we don't do that. That's on their own. They do this. This is what they like. No. Let me articulate it for you. You actually reward and you pay money, even to this day on the internet, right? You let be what exposed that you want to see and make it seem like, oh, everybody could be a content creator. I guess if nobody's watching, nobody's into your stuff, the numbers don't lie. Bullshit, bro. Listen, you're not telling the people how you can control the velocity of who gets to see what. Let them choose, but you're programming people. Same thing you do with music. There's a bunch of music out there that people talking good stuff and at a high vibration. You don't let it be heard. You don't promote it the same way you promote the other message. So don't act like it's just, oh, nobody's interested. BS, bro. BS. So somehow along the lines, reading and researching and being a scholar, it ain't cool. Use a dweeb. Nigga, I went to jail. Nigga, you was a dweeb ass nigga. I did 20 years. What'd you do? This is the type of conversations we have. This is the logic. Nigga, when you was studying, I was selling crack, nigga. Now everybody gives him a round of applause. The fuck? The fuck are we talking about here? What? It's not gonna make sense, y'all. It's not gonna make sense. And if you want it to make sense, then you have to do something about it, and you cannot battle of the booths. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So this is for my people who keep telling me, yo, you can't show me no proof. There was never no slave trade. Beloved, there was multiple companies. There was multiple acts. Bills passed. What the fuck are you talking about? There was no slave trade. There's ports. That's documented. That's a slave port right there. Many of them. That's documented in Africa. They kept it up just so that you could see. No, this existed. This really existed. This is not even half. This is not even half of the ports. This is not even half of the port. I couldn't even fit all of the ports on the west coast of Africa that sold slaves on this slide. And I didn't want to keep making slides over this. I just wanted you to get the point that there was definitely the slave trade existed, young people. It existed. Anyway, I just wanted the more science Temple of America to know that the FBI is on your heels, and tried to warn you guys, right? Tried to warn you guys. Things are out of control. I came up here, I tried to warn y'all and was like, yo, you gotta ease it with the sovereignty talk. Easy the man. Teasing the man. Anyway, you guys have abused the sovereignty talk to the point where you guys are on the goddamn watch list right now. And they're calling it something different. What are they calling it right now? They're saying that you guys are extremists. And I know you're not, right? I know you're not. I'm just letting you know how the FBI sees it. I know you're not extremists. But because y'all keep running around not wanting to, let's talk about this for a second. Yo, bro. All right, this is what I think really happened, right? I think Noble Drew Ali seen a loophole. He's like, yo, if I could tie our identity, which shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard to tie our identity to the Moroccans. If we could do that, then what we could do is we could take advantage of that extraterritoriality loophole. It makes sense, beloved. I ain't gonna hold you. It make a bunch of sense. In 2023, does it make sense? Because our people are still left. Now you going, right? And our people are still left wondering who we was, right? They keep yelling we Moors. They not from Morocco, and Moors don't have no nation. So Now, the spiritual part, I get. I'm with that. But it still leaves a hole. From where we started. We started not knowing who we was. We still don't know who we was after you gone. So was it a contribution? I don't know. Right? Whoever is in the Moor science community, they will be able to tell if it's a benefit to their life. What I'm saying is this, though. How it looks from the outside looking in is people are trying to use the movement to get around the laws of America and this corporation. That's how it looked. They have more power and resources than y'all. Am I telling you to reconsider your stance? I don't know. It's up to you, beloved. They have more power. They're not about to let you just trick everybody into being more so that y'all can have some type of diplomatic immunity. It's not going down like that. Because then every black person is going to run to that loophole. And white people have been running to that loophole. Let's say everybody's been running to the loophole of sovereignty. But they have to tie themselves to the Moroccans somehow so that they could be included on the peace treaty. I gave a clear explanation on the Arabs' role in North Africa. And so far has nothing to do with the native North or South American or the Nubian people of Ethiopia, or the sub-Saharan people of Africa. None of it. None of it. So, in my argument, it cannot be. We cannot all be from Morocco. So let's find out in my next demonstration where we actually are from. Or at least get to that conversation, because we're on 3 hours and 45 minutes right now. But the FBI do got y'all on the watch list. That's no joke. So y'all might want to simmer it down. simmer it down a little bit. Simmer it down a little bit. All right, let's deal with this. Presence of Africans in America pre-Columbus. Expected faces ancient America. Now, this conversation has layers, but this is what I want to walk away from this next part, because I do believe this conversation has layers, right? So I want to focus on the explicit difference between how the historians viewed Arabs, Ethiopians, and the natives to this new world that they came across. Now, from the records, they did not get over, the explorers didn't get over here and was like, oh, these are the same Negroes that's in Africa. They're the same ones. No, beloved. No, beloved. Cobb says, I love to hear this. Africans in America pre-Columbus is hilarious. It's not that hilarious. I'm not going to talk about it today because it's going to take it's a whole nother conversation. Then I got to get into, I don't want to get into that conversation. Please don't make me do it. But what I'll do is I'll create another video just for that. Right? Because this guy here, Alexander von Wusenaar, he does go into it. And Ivan Van Sertima goes into it. And I've talked about these things, but it's going to bring me away from this conversation. And that's what I'm trying to avoid doing. That's the only reason I don't want to talk about it. Right? Because the Spanish lady is going to say, oh, see, I told you, if he can't read it, he doesn't know. Spanish lady, I already spoke about this several videos. Several videos I've speaking about we got to go ancient, right? So basically, we're going to have to talk about the cataclysmic events. We have to talk about them and the records that was left by the ancient Sumerians and by the Babylonians. And like I said, that's the only reason that I don't want to go into it. Not because I don't understand it. I understand fully well. But now I'm not even talking about what I was trying to talk about in the beginning, which was there was a clear difference when these explorers from Europe traveled over here. This is what we're about to get into. The explorers had records, whether it was Balboa, whether it was Columbus, whoever it was, they all had records. They had journals, right? Now, you could say to me, yo, those journals was fake, whatever. That don't mean I'm going to listen to you. Because I'm not listening to that. I'm listening to sources. So you got to go get your sources because I brung mine. So if all you got is hearsay to bring to the table, I'm probably not even going to recognize it. Because at least these people here, they took the time to go and talk to other travelers and other researchers and scholars. At least they did that, right? So even if you found me a scholar that's saying something different, bring me a scholar. And not like Brother Polite scholar. I mean a real scholar. And I take shots at Brother Polite, not because he's not intelligent, but because he was messing with little kids. And I don't like that. So I can't support Brother Polite. All right, let's go. What's this say? Presence of Africans in America pre-Columbus, unexpected faces. It is in contradiction to the most elementary logic into all artistic experience that an Indian could depict in masterly way the head of a Negro without missing a single racial characteristic, unless he had actually seen such a person. The types of people depicted must have lived in America. The Negroid element is well proven by the large Olmec stone monuments as well as the terracotta, that's statues made out of clay, items, and therefore cannot be excluded from the pre-Columbian history of the Americas. Now, I do want to say some things for people that may not believe that Africans well, I'll wait. It can wait. Now, this is Ivan Van Sertima, He did write a book. They came before Columbus with details of Africans visiting the New World before Columbus. Satima gives a documented detail of the African presence in the New World. And I keep saying the New World because the New World consisted of Caribbean islands, South America, and North America. Now, usually when we have these conversations, I see people tell me right away what they not. I'm not black. I'm not North African American. I'm not Pan African. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. Many of you, I don't know which ones of you, but many of you don't have a choice but to be Pan African. It is not a question on whether you believe or not, because some of you do not know your history, right? We have something called DNA. They say, oh, it's no good though. Okay, according to who? Are you a scientist or not, beloved? Have you worked with these machines? Have you worked on this science? Have you done? Because right now, you telling me only half of it works, right? And I don't know. So you saying only half of it works. I used it though, and the half that I needed to work, it worked. Now I'm using the other half where it's telling me where I'm from. You saying no, that half is no good. Okay, I ask you, who Claude Winters blocked you? Did somebody block you, Copper? Please, don't nobody block Copper, please. Okay, so you don't. Many of us, we don't. Is no one's asking for your permission. Oh, he blocked you personally. Okay. Nah, I'm not blocking anyone because I feel if someone has something to say different from what I'm saying, then they will prove it to me. Because I'm going to tell you where I got my stuff from. So then that's a debate. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. It's like a sport. You understand? If I came up here and then I prove what I prove, and then you came right behind me, and then you came with other scholars that said different, then that's where we're going to be at. Either I'm going to lose or we're going to be at a gridlock. But sometimes only a healthy debate is the only answer to get to the bottom of it. Now, Pan-African. A lot of y'all, no one's asking for your permission to be Pan-African. You're going to be Pan-African because it's just the fact that your origin, you are of African descent. Now, I think it is disrespectful that many of you wouldn't even do the research to see if you are of African descent when there are tools out there at this point, several tools that you could use. But you are taking on barbershop talk, you are taking on emotions, you are doing nothing different that what I think, in my opinion, Noble Drew Ali did. He wanted to use a loophole, in my opinion, that would connect him to the peace treaty so that he would have sovereignty in America. Well, by you just giving up so fast and saying, no, we Indians. Whose Indian are you? You Indian? Okay. You want to tell me a tribe? You want to tell me, I don't know. You want to tell me more? Kaba says, I always ask Pan Africans to name one African ancestor they have. Well, that's what Top Cat was doing. You see how that, and that is the type of question that is ridiculous or respect to Copper. That's a ridiculous question. That's what he was doing over there the other night. He was like, yo, I want to see the names of the Africans that came over on the ships. Bro, you know damn well they changed the names of the slaves, bro. We got records of that, and I'm going to show you tonight. So why would you even ask that? Why would you even ask for something you know the answer to? That question is right up that alley, Copper, all due respect. You're going to ask a Pan-African for the name of one African ancestor they have? How would they know that? Hold up, Copper. Let's go up because we learned a lot today, right? We learned a lot today. But I'd be damned if I didn't start to show off correctly. That's the second slide, right? This is the first slide. I said there's a weapons used against this: mind control, semantic manipulation, biologic engineering, and information censorship. The second slide was this: diaspora refers to a large group of people who share a cultural and regional origin, but are living away from their traditional homeland. So if a slave trade took place, and they was over here for 400 years, wherever, right? Wherever it brought them. It could have brought them to the South America, it could have brought them to the Caribbean, Bahamas, Trinidad, Cuba, Brazil, Americas, wherever it brought them. Right? What records? Right? So this is a good conversation because I have proof that the slave masters changed the names of slaves. Not only did we see this, but we know this. So it goes back to, what are you asking for? Thank you for someone being here that I was asking the other night, and maybe you could articulate it to me so I would know what you're asking for, so I know what to look for. But I want to know, what are you asking for? Are you, again, the same thing Topcast was asking, right? It's one thing to want to say so bad you are from somewhere that you may be from or you may not be from. But one thing you're not trying to do is take an L, right? So then you just start grasping for straws. This, to me, is grasping for straws. Bills of sales, county tax records, ship logs, and etc. Okay, keep going. I want to understand. Yep. Now, this may be me. This may be me. And I could be dead wrong. Because that's the risk of being a scholar, right? And then right now, this is not even scholarship, which is about to come out my head, its mouth. It's about logic and reason. But I could be dead wrong on my logic and reason. Everything you said is correct. Bill of sales, county tax, this, that, and the third, right? So few things that we're dealing with. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I'm just going over the few things that are up against us right away. The understanding of someone's name, right? We have to rely on these people who took these notes to when these people they're slaves, right? And how I'm thinking is they already treating you less than human. That's number one. But for some reason, maybe they did have a heart to take the time to hear your name correctly and write your name, even though they don't understand your language. Even though they don't understand your language. Let's just say, they had African people sitting there to understand them. Is that what we're saying, that they wrote down every last slave name that came in correctly? So now we're gonna, when all else fails, right? When all the other proof fails, the slave trade coming in, now we're gonna ask for things that are comical at best, but we're gonna say, yeah, but where's the slave names? I want to see the slave names in order for me to believe that, right? So you asking me, show me one ancestor from Africa, but because I can't, does that negate the fact that I don't have an ancestor in Africa, right? Because if I showed you this, hold up, if I showed you this, or should I say, when I showed you this, when I showed everybody this, you know what they said? That's my DNA. That's my DNA. You know what they said to me then? Now, oh, it don't work like that. So I asked, you work in DNA? You've written papers on the sequencing and the coding of DNA? Have you written papers on sequencing and DNA? If nobody has written a paper on the sequencing of DNA, please don't tell me that my DNA is falsified, because I'm not hearing you. Because what you're telling me is the science was good enough for my biological family to find me, but when it got into another part where it told me which part of the area that I'm from, 22% Nigerian, 19% Cameroon, Congo, Western Bantus people, 17% Mali, 11% Benin and Togo, 7% Senegal, 5% Ivory Coast and Ghana. That's 81%, beloved. Now you know what you came and told me? Yo, but I'm saying though, that's not correct. And can you show me any relatives in Africa? Yo, it never stops, right? That's cool though, because you just some people. That's just what it's going to be. I'm telling you, people are married to their. It don't matter how much proof you're going to show them. That's why I'm not worried about the proof today. But the ridiculous things they ask for is like, what you just asked me? So let's take some more logic and reason, right? Logic and reason. You know how many you ever? I don't know if you guys ever done one of these tests. It would show you like 600 cousins and this, that, and the third. Right? Distance cousins, right? Let's take this into existence. If you're showing me that many, right? That's from these people are still alive, right? These people are still alive. Most of these people are still around. Most of these people are still around because they've done it themselves. The slave trade was how long? What did they say? 1493 starting out? And that's not even to the Americas, right? But 1493, okay. So we got what? What would that say? How many years is that? 400, 500 years? I'm just using logic right now. I don't want to freestyle too much because the Spanish lady gonna be like, yo, you was freestyling again. I just want to use my logic. I think I'm allowed to do that. So what the DNA sequences is doing, I'm assuming, you hear me, Spanish lady? I'm assuming, right? It's telling me from the samples of my DNA, this is where this part originated. Like you would be originally be from this area because there's a high concentration in that area there, right? But as far as the people that you're related to that also took part in this here platform, if you never took this test, what it does is it shows you the proximity of who is closest to you. That's the thing about this test. So it was so pinpoint. It actually told me that this person here, who's the highest up, that's closest to you, is either your grandfather or your uncle. That's what it told me. When my uncle called me, because I left him a message, I didn't know when he was going to check it again. I left him a message, yo, this is me. If you got, you know what I'm saying? I see you very close to me. You very close to me. So please give me a call back. He responds 30 days later. I had forgot I even did the test. He says my name. I'm like, yeah. He said, you left a message? I was like, oh, snap. I said, well, the test said you either my grandfather or my uncle. So he said, I'm your uncle. So with all of the different scientists out here that do study science, not like just hearsay scientists, like, nah, that ain't true, beloved. All of the scientists out here, Dr. Judith Makovich and all of these people, I think I would have heard something from them who really study and understand DNA sequencing that, nah, it ain't gonna. But my own experience, the DNA already showed me, okay, it can connect this. Now, as far as connecting me to someone from Africa 400 and 300 years ago, when it goes off proximity, it did not show me that. It showed me people that are mainly alive that's taking it today. But even with them, it shows me like this is how far removed you are from these people that's living today. So your logical and reasonable question, you and Top Cats, is why is it not showing you people from 300 years ago? That's your argument? I think the answer is because it becomes diluted after a certain point, and even that has its limits, because the amount of people, I'm assuming, again, I'm freestyling, because he's gonna say I'm freestyling. I am freestyling at this point. I'm trying to use my logic and my reason, because I have that too, right? We have intuition, logic, and reason. These points, you asking me why I haven't found the people of. No, I'm sure I do, Copper. You understand? I'm sure I do have living cousins that's there. But even if I was to show you my profile, the people that's living is so far. They tell you how far removed you are from these people, right? So we have been breeding. My point is this: my family have been breeding over here for hundreds of years. These people, and now the cousins that's alive that are showing me their profile. Okay, but still, we have been here. So it seems like the program is showing me the people within the, you understand, last century, last at best, because it's not going back centuries, right? It's showing me the people that took place in it now. I'm not sure. My reason would tell me it has its limits to go back to cousins that was back 300 years ago. That's me. I think finding cousins from 300 years ago. There's another word. Miscegenation is the word. Miscegenation is the word. This is sexual relationships or reproduction between people of different ethnic groups. So we're going to take let's just have a conversation about the North American Native Americans, right? The imported slaves, and I should have really put up here too some of the slaves that traveled to North America and South America and the New World way before Columbus. How do we know this? We got the proof. And the Taino indigenous Caribbean people. I think they also call them Guahanian. The Guahanian people. Also the Taino tribes, right? Now, I think, and I say I think because this is just logic and reason, that these people would at some point have sexual relationships with each other. Imported slaves with the Taino people, I think that would be logical. Imported slaves with North American Indians, I think that would be logical. King John II of Portugal tells Columbus, Africans have been going to the New World. Let's go. Let's go. Now, here's a king of Portugal who had to tell Columbus, yo, Africans been going over there, bro. Now, what I was going to say earlier is there's a current that runs from the coast of Africa all the way to the New World, which is the Americas, the Caribbean islands, Florida, the coast of Florida. There's a current that will naturally take you from the coast of Africa all the way to the New World and circle you back and bring you back. So they already had proof, as we're going to see in a second, that Africans been coming over here. Even the king of Portugal was telling Columbus this. When Columbus came back and he told him his findings, this, that, and the third, he said, yo, bro, you's a fool. Why didn't you take advantage of that when you was over there the first time? Let's read what I got down here. It says, the king was certain of this. Africans, he said, had traveled to that world. It could be found just below the equinoctial, I don't know how to say that word, but I know what it means. Line, right? The line that runs, separates the north from the south. Roughly on the same parallel as the latitudes of this domain in Guinea. In fact, boats had been found which started out with Guinea and navigated to the west with merchandise. So what they found over there was Africans, and we're going to talk about who they are and explorers, right? When the explorers went over there, the natives would talk about, these different, and they seen different African captives. So when they spoke to the locals some more, tried to figure out, like, what are they doing over here? This is when they started to understand, they come over here, they trade, but sometimes things get hostile. Sometimes they want to take us as prisoners. Not everyone comes in with good intent, right? Sometimes, from what some of these scholars believe, we're going to take a look at these. The Africans came over there and their boats was ruined, which means they were shipwrecked. Now they shipwrecked on a place that they're not originally from. King John II of Portugal tells Columbus, Africans been going to the New World. The Indians of this Hispaniola, which is the island of Haiti, right? We know this. Said there had come to Hispaniola a black people who have the tops of their spears made of metal, which they call guanine, of which he, Columbus, had sent samples to the sovereigns back to Spain to have them appraised. When it was found that 32 parts, 18 of it was gold, 6 of silver, and copper. So let's keep going. I don't know why I threw this slide right here, but I'm going to read it. Ancient Ethiopia. If we look at the modern translation of the Bible, we often find the terms Ethiopia and Ethiopian, which go back to the early Greek and Latin translations of the Hebrew Bible. In the Greek and Latin speaking word of antiquity, Ethiopia meant black Africa. These terms are always translations of the original Hebrew Cush and Cushi. Now, I put the source right there because I could have wrote that, but I went to a source to find some of these things just so that I'm not freestyling. Let's keep going. George Washington Williams. This is another. You guys got to look up George Washington Williams. I'm telling you, this guy. I had no idea who he was. I'd never heard of him. He was in politics in like the 1800s. It's crazy. The words Ethiopia and Kush were used always to describe a black people. or the country where such a people lived, right? It doesn't matter how much proof you show some people, how much evidence. Now, I'm showing you this because people way before now are saying this, right? So I left the source for that. History of the Negro race in America from 1619 to 1880.